turn your video off. You can.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this panel with Bluffton. My name is Victoria and I am the facilitator. That means that I start and stop the meeting. You won't see me again until right at the end. Meg will be the main presenter. I do encourage all of you with any questions that you have to post them in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Even though you don't have camera or microphone, you are still able to communicate, and Meg and her team will answer your questions. I do encourage you all to look at the remaining sessions that we have for this week. Sign up for schools that you could be interested in. And if you did miss a few or even want to review this one afterward, they are available as a recording on oacac.org. I will turn over my screen and I hope you get some good information.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Meg Short, and I'm an admissions counselor at Bluffton. If you wouldn't mind hitting speaker view in your upper right-hand corner, so whoever's speaking is the largest on your screen. So I graduated from Bluffton in 2016, and I just have some things I'd like to share with you today, and then we will have a student panel to wrap up. So we have a beautiful 66-acre campus in Northwest Ohio, right in between Lima and Findlay. There's such abundant natural beauty with campus being built around the trees and the creek that flows through the town of Bluffton. And another 160 acres at our nature preserve with trails, a swinging bridge, and a great pond where students can kayak or fish. Now, I know many of you are probably involved in clubs and extracurriculars, sports, multiple sports, band, choir, drama, youth group. You may have a part-time job or siblings you take care of. We are busy people, and we know that life is complicated, especially now in the midst of a pandemic, with all kinds of different, safety measures in place. And you are juggling so many different things in your lives right now. And we're all asking you to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life, which is a really big question, we know. But what Bluffton helped me to realize is that we're not meant to live an ordinary life. We believe that you're meant for a greater purpose. And we're passionate about helping students figure out what that is for them. Guided by our 4 core values of discovery, community, respect, and service, our sense of a greater purpose has been developing students of exceptional character since 1899. We've been bettering the world together. So these values shape the way that we do everything on campus. Academics, student life, spiritual life, even athletics are shaped by these core values. Our 4-year experience is designed to guide you towards adulthood, one of those values at a time, through our Bluffton Blueprint program, which I will elaborate on a little bit later. We are a 4-year private university and only have about 800 students. So our students receive very personalized attention from their faculty members who do become lifelong friends and mentors for our students. Our student to faculty ratio is 11:1, and our average class size is 16. The largest class students at Bluffton will ever have is around 40 students, and you may have some classes as small as 7 or 8 students. Students do not get lost in the crowd. It's safe to say. And professors certainly know when students are not in class. There's a lot of accountability in that way. You are not just a face in the crowd. Because our classes are very small, we are holding all classes all in person this year on campus because it was pretty easy for us to space students 6 feet apart since our class sizes are already fairly small. We were able to safely accommodate everyone. We're on week 6 now, and it is going really well so far. We haven't had any big outbreaks on campus, and we are hoping to remain safely on campus until Thanksgiving, when students will go home to complete their online finals. So some of you may know exactly what you want to do with the rest of your life, which is great. You've got a 10-year plan, you have all these career goals, but some of you may have no idea what you want to do or how you're going to make a living, and that is totally okay. I was in that boat as well when I was a high school student, and it's actually totally okay to come to Bluffton undecided on a major. We'll help you figure that out along the way. Like I said, we're very passionate about helping students find their perfect fit. So we have over 85 different majors, minors, and programs, which is quite a lot for a school of our size, and are nationally accredited in nutrition and dietetics, education, music, and social work. New this year is a major called Medical Laboratory Science, which is very timely with our current pandemic. And this major is in collaboration with the West Central Ohio Medical Laboratory Science program, which actually has a 100% graduation rate and a 100% placement rate as well. We are a liberal arts school here at Bluffton. So if you don't know what that means, I like to say that it's the best of both worlds. You take classes pertaining to your major, but you also take classes outside your field that make you a more well-rounded person. We want to prepare you for life, as well as vocation, which is just a fancy word that means an occupation that really complements your natural gifts and abilities. We focus on those transferable skills that we know employers are looking for these days, such as excellent communication skills, critical thinking, and strategic planning. Bluffton's curriculum allows you the flexibility to take classes in areas that you have an interest in, as well as the option to self-design a major with the help of your academic advisor, which we work closely with all 4 years, regardless. If you only remember one thing today, remember this. Did you know that the average college graduate in 2020 will have 7 different jobs before they retire? If that shocks you, that's okay. That shocked me as well when I first heard that. It's no longer the case with our parents and our grandparents' generations where you work the same job until you retire. And while it is great to know what you want to do, your plans might change, and our future is going to be different than any of us can imagine right now. And if you're like me and you had no idea what you wanted to do when you were in high school, the transferable skills that I received at Bluffton prepared me for everything, like moving to San Francisco right after graduation and working with people experiencing homelessness in one of the most impoverished neighborhoods in the country. Like I mentioned, we want to prepare you for life and not just for the job market. Our students are encouraged to experience a variety of different cultures, disciplines, and backgrounds to prepare them for the diversity that lies ahead of them in the job market and to be able to understand those who grew up in a different way than themselves. Because we believe that this makes you better equipped to handle our ever-changing society. At Bluffton, we have a saying, and it's all about relationships. And I know that sounds incredibly cheesy, but that was truly my experience as a Bluffton student. You collaborate with a diverse group of peers and learn from trusted faculty, mentors, coaches, and supervisors. Since we are such a small school, those personal relationships are possible, and professors really support the whole you, not just your academic goals. They truly want you to be successful in all areas of your life and regularly attend your games, concerts, and presentations, invite you into their homes for dinner and holiday parties, and truly mean it when they say that their door is always open. I have many of my professors' cell phone numbers, and I know that they would answer if I would call to talk about an assignment or just with questions about life. And if you did not know, we are a Christian school affiliated with the Mennonite denomination. I'm Mennonite. The vast majority of students on our campus are not. We have over 26 different faith backgrounds represented on our campus, as well as students that don't identify with a faith background. So you will certainly not see buggies or bonnets on our campus. Your spiritual life at Bluffton is whatever you want it to be. Students are encouraged to attend weekly chapel services and Bible studies, but they are by no means required to be a student at Bluffton. People grow at different rates, and we kind of just exist within this community of respect for one another's differing beliefs. Along with that, we have a long-standing honor code that applies both to how students treat one another and in the classroom. So professors are actually not in the room when you are taking tests and exams. They're not staring at you, to make sure you're not cheating. On your honor, you write a statement about your work being 100% your own. And you also put this at the bottom of every paper that you write. We are a residential campus, which means most of our students do live on campus all 4 years, with a couple of different apartment style options for juniors and seniors, and a few off-campus academic houses. We do have 6 different residence halls, most with freshmen through seniors in them. So I really liked that experience as a student. When I was a freshman, there were senior girls on my floor that were mentors to me. And by the time I got to be a senior, I got to mentor some of the freshman girls that I met on my floor. All of our residence halls have free laundry and free printing, which is really nice to not worry about carrying around quarters to pay for those things. And the reason we're a residential campus, that we work hard to foster intentional community, on our campus, as we know that nurturing that social aspect of campus is equally as important as the academic part, right? This is really the only time in your life when you have that opportunity to live with others who are going through all of the same things that you are. And some of my very best friends are those girls I met during Welcome Weekend freshman year that lived on my floor. So back to our Bluffton Blueprint and our 4 core values. The first one is discovery. Your first year will help you figure out who you are as a student, as a community member, what has shaped you up to this point. The entire first year class takes a fall break retreat to the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. This is called the Great Adventure. Unfortunately, we had to cancel it for this fall due to COVID. We're gonna recreate some elements of the retreat here on campus, but it's a really great time to relax and zip line and hike the Appalachian Trail and get to know one another and yourself a little bit better. The focus of sophomore year is community, how you fit into the Bluffton community, certainly, and how you as a sophomore class can engage in real community issues and problem solving. You'll venture out into some of our surrounding communities, mostly Lima, a city about 20 minutes from Bluffton, to see the good work that some of our community partners have been doing in that area for years and years, and learn how you can replicate that in any type of community that you find yourself in after college. The junior year is all about respect for one another on campus, obviously, as well as respect for other cultures. So this is when you will complete a cross-cultural experience, and I will touch on that a little bit later on. So the last value is service, the senior year. You've had this really impactful, life-changing experience. How will you look forward to living out your purpose as a Bluffton alum? You'll complete a community task force project with a group of other seniors, where you look at what you've learned over your 4 years and figure out what type of mark you'd like to leave on the campus community and on our community at large. Here at Bluffton, it is not just a class that you have to take to graduate. It is a pathway for wherever you want to go after college. The Bluffton experience is purposely designed to help you explore a wide range of programs so that you can find your right fit. You'll receive those opportunities, research experience, clinical practice, and faculty references that will help move your resume to the top of the stack so that you can have a fulfilling and impactful career. Students at Bluffton have an abundance of academic support through our 3 student success centers. Our writing center connects students who are English and writing majors, and you can get help there at any stage of the paper writing process. Our Learning Resource Center, known as the LRC here on campus, is where students can receive free tutoring for any class, as well as be a tutor as a paid campus job if there's a class that you're really excelling in. Many students who come to Bluffton with average high school grades really excel with the additional academic support and personalization that they receive here at Bluffton. And the third is our Center for Career and Vocation. They will work hard to make sure you have those experiences you need to get a job right out of college. Students meet regularly with their academic advisor, who's only working with a few other students, so they really do know you personally. And they help you navigate course registration and graduation requirements. You're never going through that alone. Many of our majors require at least one out of the classroom experience prior to graduation, such as an internship, a practicum, clinical, student teaching, etc. But some of our students complete 2 or 3 or even 4 of these experiences, which greatly increases your chances of receiving job offers before graduation. These are individualized, personal experiences to fit each student's goals as well. And as a Bluffton alum, you actually have free lifetime access to this Center for Career and Vocation. So if you need cover letter help or career advice, or you would like to do some mock interviews before a big interview coming up, they can help with that. We have 60 different clubs and organizations on our campus, many of them student-led, so there are a lot of opportunities for resume building leadership roles. 17 of these are pre-professional programs. One example would be NISLA, National Student Speech Language Hearing Association, that a lot of our speech path majors are a part of. We also have 16 NCAA Division III teams, as well as instrumental and vocal performance groups. So you can find your fit within the Bluffton community right away. We do what we call 60 in 6, so 60 campus events in that first 6 weeks of school. This is a really great way to get involved right away and to make friends. So walking into my first college class was not as scary as I thought it was going to be. There were already a lot of familiar faces at lunch and in the classroom. The town of Bluffton and the university provide a very safe and comfortable community that allows you to focus on growing academically and socially and spiritually. But your learning doesn't take place exclusively on campus in Bluffton. Like I mentioned before with our cross-cultural experiences, 96% of our students do participate in a cross-cultural experience internationally, and we do have some within the States as well. We know there are a lot of different cultures within the US, and that's really the goal, is to get you out of your comfort zone and expand your horizons, and so that you come to love and respect a culture that's totally unlike your own. I chose to go to Botswana for mine, which is right above South Africa, right below Zimbabwe. And I really was one of the highlights of my college experience. We did homestays the majority of the time. So I have another family across the world that welcomed me into their home with open arms. And I really got to know their way of life a lot better than I would have if I had never traveled outside of the US during college. So the really incredible opportunities, whole semester opportunities available as well. We have residences in Chicago, Washington, DC, Nashville, Guatemala, and Greece, where you can live and learn for that whole semester with other college students and have an amazing internship experience at the same time that can turn into a job offer down the road. We actually have partnerships with other study abroad programs with 40 other countries. So if we're not going to a country you've always wanted to visit, there's still that opportunity to travel and make that happen and have that count as your cross-cultural experience. So some new things on our campus. Last summer, we opened our Moyer Nature Center out at our nature preserve. So students can enjoy class outside this time of year when the weather is nice. We also opened an esports video game center in the basement of one of our residence halls, and that has become one of our fastest growing clubs on campus. They built state-of-the-art custom gaming PCs over the summer and have a lot of fun streaming to the big screen and hosting tournaments. We also launched a digital music lab last year, which is really great for students who may not be classically trained in music, but have grown up creating music digitally their whole lives. So that's a great resource for them. And lastly, we launched our Bluffton Bread Company on campus. And this was a collaboration between our nutrition and dietetics students, marketing students, graphic design students, and accounting students. They did all the work to price check ingredients, develop the bread recipes, get the word out, design the logos and packaging, and really learned all the ins and outs of starting your own business. They launched at our Harvest Dinner last year, which is our farm-to-table benefit meal put on by our dietetic students. And they sold out within a few hours every single time they launched a new flavor of bread or sold at one of our downtown storefronts. My personal favorite was the Christmas flavor. It was kind of a chocolate peppermint. It was delicious. So you may be asking yourself, this all sounds great, but is a private school actually affordable? And we believe that it absolutely should be. We don't think anything should stand in the way of the person you're meant to become. So 100% of our students receive financial aid. Absolutely no one pays the full sticker price here at Bluffton. And we do like to be very transparent about these things. So we are pretty much right in the middle, slightly below, in terms of the cost of private schools across the country. However, we do give more financial aid than 90% of the private schools in the state. And there are a lot of private schools in Ohio. So I think we're doing a pretty good job at chipping away at that number and making it much more affordable. Our financial aid at Bluffton actually made Bluffton the cheaper option for me with the schools that I was considering. So I definitely recommend using the net price calculator on our website to find out what that might look like for you. And that's just bluffton.edu/calculator. All of our scholarships are stackable as well. We will never decrease what we're giving you when we find out that you've gotten outside scholarships or local scholarships. We really encourage you to apply for those as well. Our students are awarded an academic scholarship upon acceptance, ranging from $10,000 to $20,000 per year. based on their high school transcript. ACT and SAT scores are not a factor this year, as you may have guessed, with many schools going test optional, test flexible. We have taken that on as well. We also have music performance competitions and art portfolio awards and church matching, among many others. And we think the outcomes speak for themselves because 99% of our graduates at Bluffton are employed, furthering their education in graduate or medical school, or participating in gap service years within 6 months of graduation. They are educators and mentors and diplomats, coaches and doctors, and peacemakers and accountants. They are difference makers. What we do here and the way that we do it has a huge impact on the lives of our students, which I can personally attest to. You know, the plans I thought I had for my life at 17 years old don't look very much like the incredible experiences that I was able to have as a student and now as an employee of Bluffton. Bluffton grads are challenged to think critically about the world and their place in it, and they leave here prepared to live a life of purpose. So if you do know what you want in life, that is fantastic. Chase those dreams. We can be that pathway for anywhere in the world you would like to go. But if you don't know what that is quite yet, hang in there. You can find your greater purpose at Bluffton. Our application is always free and only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out, so it's very easy to do that. So I do encourage you to apply to Bluffton and schedule an on-campus visit sometime soon. It really is the best way to see if a school is going to be a good fit for you. Talking to current students and walking around really gives you an idea of, can I see myself spending 4 years here? So don't just take my word for it. Come and visit Bluffton for yourself. So we're going to have a student panel now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and invite our students participating in the panel to hop on here. All right, and if you're not already, make sure you hit speaker view. That way the person speaking is the largest on your screen. So I'm going to have you all introduce yourself. So we'll go Julian, Evan, and then Amy. Just talk about where you're from, what year you are, your major, things like that. So Julian, go ahead.
I am Julian LaValle. I am a senior music major with a concentration in business, and I am from Jefferson, Ohio, which is the northeast part of Ohio.
I'm Evan Burden. I'm a junior music education major with a vocal primary, and I'm from Sydney, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes south of Bluffton.
I'm Amy Marshall. I'm from Pickerington, Ohio. I am a junior this year and I'm majoring in social work and psychology.
Great. So I'm going to have you go in that same order again and just talk about what extracurriculars you're involved in here on campus and your different campus jobs.
I am a member of the men's golf team on campus. I am a member of our student athletic advisory committee on campus. I am a member of Marbeck Center Board, and I am a resident life advisor. And I am also the sound coordinator of Yoder Recital Hall.
So on campus, I'm involved in quite a bit. I'm involved in 2 different choirs on campus. I'm involved in band. I'm also involved with like Brave Space, and then also involved with International ICON, which is International Connection. And my jobs on campus include being a resident advisor in one of our residence halls, and then also working in the sound booth for Yoder this semester, helping with classes and form and stuff like that.
So I'm a pastoral assistant. So Meg talked about how we have like spiritual life stuff on campus. So we have a group of students that they like encourage students to go to different spiritual life events. So those ministry assistants live in all the halls. And then I'm a pastoral assistant, so I'm kind of in charge of them. I'm also one of the chapel planning coordinators. And I am the president of the social work club and I am also one of the leaders of Serve.
All right, so our next question is, with so many colleges to choose from, why did you end up choosing Bluffton? And in your opinion, what made Bluffton stand out to you?
When I was looking at schools, I looked at probably 10, 15 schools that I was like considering and everything. But when I came on my visit to Bluffton, it changed everything. Bluffton became just a school I was looking at to the school I wanted to go to. Being able to have that close personal connection with your professors and everything meant a lot to me. And being able to be here, this is since I'm a senior, having 4 years now of experiencing all of that, it's really I made the best choice to receive the best education possible.
So for me, it's very interesting. Like, it's not interesting, I say, but I always wanted to end up at a really big university. So then when I visited Bluffton for the first time, with it being so small, I was kind of leery about if it would be a good fit for me. But then I was greeted out of my car by the men's soccer coach and the assistant men's soccer coach my freshman summer before my freshman year that I came here. And then I also got to meet with a music faculty member the first visit I went on. So they really made me feel a part of the family on my first visit, and they even invited me back to sing with the choir on my next visit and sit in on actual classes to see what it would be like taking classes and if music would be what I wanted to major in as well. They were very willing to contact me outside of my visit. So it was very open communication, and it was very, it just felt like home right off the bat when I visited.
So kind of like Julian, I visited a lot of different colleges during my junior year of high school. When I went into my senior year, my mom and I ended up going back to some of the colleges that we had visited before. And I found that when I came to Bluffton's campus and I spent a day on a personal visit talking to different faculty and to the admissions counselors and to other students, I really didn't want to leave. I mean, I just loved the campus so much, and I knew that I'd be able to have a place here. And I mean, it was really great because with what I wanted to do with my major, sometimes I'd go to other universities and talk to the social work professors and say, hey, this is what I want to do. And they would say like, cool, that's great. And they wouldn't really like elaborate on it at all. But when I came here, when I talked to the professors, they were immediately like invested in it and saying like, oh, we can get you hooked up with these places. You can do internships here. So I really felt like being on campus, all the faculty and staff that we met really, really cared even about prospective students before they came onto campus. And I knew that by coming here, I would continue in those relationships with my professors and with students and with staff. And I definitely find that that was true.
All right, so our next question here is about cross-culturals, which Julian is the only one of these three who has had the opportunity to go on his so far. So for Evan and Amy, talk about where you would like to go or you're planning to go. So Julian, just share a little bit about your semester cross-cultural and what was the biggest takeaway for you? What's going to stick with you?
I did my cross-cultural last fall. I did the semester-long program in Nashville, which was a great experience for me. Being in music business, I wanted to go to Nashville and learn music tech. So it was right in Brentwood, Tennessee, which is just 20 minutes south of Nashville. And it was just truly an amazing experience. I was able to work with state-of-the-art sound, lighting, and visual effects equipment for a whole semester. We were able to go on tour. That was our final exam. We loaded up 2 25-foot box trucks full of all of our equipment, went to different high schools and universities throughout the state of Tennessee, and was able to perform with our artists that we had that went to the school as well. And it was just truly a great experience. But the main thing that I wanted to take away from it was that regardless of, and this was the thing that they kind of instilled on us, was regardless on where you're at, as long as you're willing to continue working towards your goals, you will always be able to achieve your goals.
So I haven't been able to go on my cross-cultural yet, but there's quite a few this year that have sparked my interest. My top two choices right now are either Israel, Palestine, and then the Guatemala trip. So with being an international connection, I've met a lot of students from Guatemala, and just to see their excitement for students to go to their country and experience their culture as they're experiencing ours is something that is really important to me because they're so like engaged in our culture, and I just want to get to know them better. So being able to go to Guatemala would be a really cool experience. And I've also had friends who went on the Israel-Palestine trip summer of my freshman year. So those are my plans right now, but they could change. So we'll see.
So one of the trips this coming spring is to Germany. That's the one that I'm hoping on going on. I actually took a class last year called Nazi Germany and the Holocaust, and they were hoping to go to Germany this past spring, but due to COVID, that wasn't able to happen, so they've rescheduled it for this year. And during the class, the professor would always point out, like when we were talking about specific locations in Germany, she would mention like, yeah, when we're going on the trip, we're actually going to see this. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to go on that trip so I can actually experience like the things that I was reading about during class. I'm hoping to see that stuff in real life.
Great. So the next question here is, what is it like living in the residence halls and being on a residential campus? What has your experience been with that?
I was super against it when I first came to Bluffton. I thought living on campus for 4 years was a bad idea. And then I thought as a freshman, I was like, I'll figure a way out of it, or I'll just figure it out. And then my freshman year, I just realized it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Just being able to meet upperclassmen and meeting other people who have been through campus, has all these experiences that they shared with me, and being able to ask them questions about professors and different classes and stuff like that. It allowed me to see kind of what the end result of the Bluffton experience was. And it was just a unique experience that I enjoy still to this day.
So my residence hall experience is a little bit different than most students would be. I actually never had a roommate in my 3 years I've been here. My roommate freshman year is from Florida. And he didn't like being so far away from home. But we still talk to this day. And we always play video games together, even though he ended up leaving. But being able to live in the residence halls has been a super cool experience. I've met a lot of my really good friends outside of the music department from my floors that I've lived on. And now moving into like the resident advisor role, it just being in a position to help people when they need help, or even just being that person that people go to. It may be some pressure sometimes, but even if it's just for them to unlock their door or something, it's always something that you can build a relationship out of and have a little joke about sometimes when they get locked out of their rooms 5 or 6 times in a span of a week. But we always have good fun with it, and we have good events in there too. So we hang out at those, we have coffee and donuts, and we play games together. And it's just been a really good experience for me over these past 2 years. Even though I haven't had a roommate, I've made friends who kind of felt like roommates. So it's been a really good experience.
So coming to Bluffton freshman year, I was paired with someone using like the roommate matching system. We've been roommates now for 3 years, and we're best friends, and we get along super, super well, and we're involved in a lot of the same things. I feel really, really lucky that I do have a roommate. I know that was definitely something I was worried about before coming to Bluffton, not knowing if I would get along with someone that I never met before. But I mean, it's worked out so, so well. And then outside of my room, I've always had really good relationships with the people on my floors. Meg said something kind of like this, but during my freshman year, we didn't have that many freshmen on my floor. And so some of the students that were a little bit older kind of saw us and said, like, you're freshmen, we're going to befriend you, we're going to make sure that you're not alone, make sure that you know where you're going all the time. They would invite us to go with them to chapel and to dinner and lunch. And so they were always like really accommodating and making sure that we were adjusting onto campus really well. And now being a junior, that's something that I really like doing, is finding the freshmen and just making sure they're doing okay and making sure that they're getting involved on campus. So I really feel like the residence halls are a really great place for students to look out for each other. And I mean, it's a really great community, and it's really nice to know that like you have neighbors that are always there for you, and always like if you need to rant about your classes, they're always there. And I mean, you can have fun with them for the floor events, but it's been a really, really good experience living in a residence hall.
So for a lot of students, moving away to college is the first time they've kind of had that opportunity to have a little bit more independence and be able to design their own schedule and hang out with their friends kind of on their own time. So what on and off campus are your favorite things to do with your friends, both events on campus and things within the town of Bluffton and our surrounding communities?
My favorite event that we do on campus is probably either the lip sync battle or when we'll do karaoke and froyo. I remember my first time going to karaoke and froyo, I sang Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus and like tried to sing it in her octave and everything. So it's just like stuff like that was super fun. Lip sync battle is an event that we do in the spring. I did a lot of the lighting and sound for it when we did it last year and the year before. It's just a cool experience bringing everyone together, seeing people having choreography prepared for music that they've been lip syncing to. And then stuff off campus, like the nature preserve, which is on campus, but everything. That's nice to do. Just either walk the trails or you can get a kayak and just kind of go out in the water. The bowling alley's a fun time to go with your friends. Just going down to the Twisted Whisk, getting a coffee or anything like that. Just kind of walking around the shops down by off of Main Avenue is super nice. I never in my life have seen so many people say hi as you walk across the street that you don't know, just because you're in the Bluffton community. So it kind of felt like the first time I ever went down, it was super welcoming and everything. And just sort of stuff like that going on around downtown has always just been fun for us.
Some of my favorite events, I really enjoy bingo every other Monday. So we do different themes of bingo every other Monday. So this coming Monday is plant bingo. So I'm very excited for that, to win some new plants for my room. My old ones are getting lonely. But outside of that, I also enjoy the lip sync battle. Our admissions counselors always do lip sync, and it's one of my favorite things every year. And then downtown, we have a lot of stuff down there. I love the plant shop, Roots. Me and my friends go there a lot. And we also go to Lulu's, which is a breakfast diner, and we get breakfast on the weekends. And we also go to Luke's, which is another restaurant in town that we go to dinner sometimes to celebrate the end of a stressful week with classes and stuff. And then we always like to challenge each other in bowling as well. So we try to stay on campus to go to our events that are hosted every weekend, but sometimes going out to go bowling for a couple hours is really nice as well.
So my favorite on-campus event is actually also karaoke and froyo. I think it's a lot of fun. I didn't participate in it myself, but I mean, it's really fun to watch your friends get up and make a fool of themselves a little bit. So that's definitely one of them. Off campus, I think my favorite place to go is the nature preserve. My friends and I really like going out and kayaking, because I mean that's available for students to use and that's free. And we go back to the swinging bridge, and that's a really great place to take pictures. And then we also like going into town, especially during the weekend when they have the farmers market. It's kind of fun to walk around there, and I mean that environment's a really great place to see some of the people who live in Bluffton. Sometimes you'll see professors when you're walking around downtown, so that's fun. But we really take advantage of everything that is in the town of Bluffton, like the bowling alley and also the $4 movie theater. We always take advantage of that. and the Gourmet Popcorn Place, which is my parents' place in Bluffton, favorite place in Bluffton. So yeah, there's a lot downtown, and you can really like spend an entire day just walking around downtown if you really, I mean, with all the shops that are down there.
Great. So our next question here is, what has been your favorite class you've taken so far at Bluffton, and your favorite professor? And talk a little bit about your relationship with that professor.
My favorite class that I've taken was Principles of Marketing with Melissa Green. She is the marketing professor on campus through the business department, and I'm having her for my second class right now, and she's just been a great resource that I've used just to talk to about what I've been doing with my career and everything like that. Not being a business major or anything like that, I didn't know if she would have that kind of insight or anything like that, or be willing to talk to me when I first talked to her, which was 2 years ago. But now we have a great relationship, and she's helped me look at graduate school and everything. And that's something that I know is going to last longer than just my 4 years at Bluffton. It's going to last a lifetime.
So my favorite class was actually Intro to Education, Intro to Teaching. So during my first semester here, I actually got placed in a school for field experience, and I got to go to Pandora, which is a local high school, K through 12 school, and I worked with high school choir, middle school band, and then sixth grade general music. So I really got real world like to know that teaching is something that I wanted to do my first semester I was here. And in relation to that, my favorite professor that I've had has been Mr. Byers. Mr. Byers always had amazing education stories, and sometimes they were very crazy. But he was always a man that anytime he'd see you on campus, he'd make an effort to get to know how your day was going, or how you're just doing in general. He'd go to all of our sporting events, all of our band concerts, and even when he was outside of the campus and we saw him in person, he'd make the effort to stop and talk to us. And he made it a point to get to know every student that he met by name, which was big to me because not everyone makes that effort when you're at a bigger place. So just seeing him make that conscious effort to just get to know us a little bit better than just students who sit in his class every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Was a really important aspect to me for freshman year that kept me going. And he's always someone that I can reach out to talk to even now, and I'm not in any of his classes. He's always a really good resource to reach out to.
So my favorite class was Intro to Social Work, which I took my freshman year. That class was a little unique because we actually just spent most of the class talking about what different places social workers could actually work. And that's nice because, I mean, coming in as a social work major, I kind of had no idea what I was going to do in terms of social work. And so, I mean, getting the chance to hear from, actually, we had people come in from different organizations that were social workers, and we were able to hear what they did on a day-to-day basis and kind of figure out like what would fit us the best. So that was my favorite class, and that class was taught by my favorite professor, Heidi Mercer. She is one of the 2 social work professors at Bluffton, and she has been really great in helping us in our social work classes, especially when it comes to self-care. We've definitely acknowledged that social work is kind of a difficult job to go into, and so through all of the classes that I've had with her, her number one priority is always that we're taking care of ourselves and that we're making sure that we're in a mental place to actually do the job. And I mean, that comes first to her before like any of the coursework really. Is just making sure that like we're in a state of mind where we actually can do our jobs. And I think that's really, really great. Just because I think like at other universities, it might just be mostly information, but I mean, she cares about each one of our students and wants to make sure that they're able to succeed in social work.
All right, thank you so much to our panel. We need to wrap up for today, unfortunately. So if there are any questions, feel free to put that in the Q&A box and I will answer them. But thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to hear a little bit about Bluffton.
Okay, well, that we have right at the time to end. What I would like to do is to encourage all of you to stay online after we finish this session, because there is a short 4-question survey that we'd love for you to answer to help us improve on how to bring you information on colleges going forward. Remember that this meeting and any other session is on demand as a recording at oacac.org, and look forward to more sessions that you can sign up for the remainder of the week. And there will be another round of presentations that will come out probably in November. Thank you very much and have a great day.